Hey guys, John here at Cineplex, the place that I work at. And as you can hear, there's music in the background, but if you go over here, there's even more obnoxious music brought by, you guessed it, Nintendo. Yay! And it's on a 30-second loop, so I have to listen to this all day, every day, and it's wonderful. Totally hasn't driven me crazy. Hey guys, Fizzlesticks here with another quality upload for you. Yeah, I know it's been a long time, if even ever, but you might be wanting to stick around for this one if you have any sort of interest in Nintendo products, cause this video more than any other before it is a PSA. Though I don't necessarily demand a boycott on Nintendo, I do believe you should be aware of a number of things regarding the corporation before forking out your hard-earned shekels to them for their Nintendo Snatch? Nintendo Swap? Nintendo Snitch? What? Wait, what the fuck was this thing called?
Nintendo fucks YouTubers.
It's not a major secret that Nintendo is a bit behind on the times when it comes to their marketing, but this also leaks into their handling of their intellectual property. You see, as Jim Sterling put in an excellent video appropriately titled Why It's Morally Okay to Pirate All of Nintendo's Games, Nintendo doesn't respect a very integral component of copyright law: fair use. First of all, Nintendo has a garbage partnership program on YouTube called Nintendo's Creators Program, in which you forfeit your shekels to them when you play their games and flag them yourself, essentially, and they offer you a fraction of this like it's a fucking allowance or something, like they're your parents. Okay, so you think that's not too bad, but it's really only just begun. Even if you agree to bend over and let Nintendo stuff you like a turkey, they can still take you down.
Got 2 copyright strikes. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, well, doesn't he go through and make sure about all the stuff he does is like copyright and stuff like that? Yeah, I do, in fact. But what really makes this great is you're probably wondering, well, maybe it's because he didn't go for that whole Nintendo YouTube partnership program. Well, guess what? I did. I went and I manually put in all 500 plus videos across 2 accounts of all the Nintendo videos I had into that program. I did that manually, okay? You know, like I said, I want to play by the rules. I didn't want to get a copyright strike because they had that program, and I thought if you signed up for that program, then maybe you wouldn't get a copyright strike, because anybody with a fucking brain would have that kind of logic. I am not going to fucking risk putting up videos on an account that has 2 strikes. So everything's going up on Azurite Reaction after these next few videos, and this is the really big hitter and stuff like that. I wiped every single first-party Nintendo game from my channel. Yep. I wiped every single Mario video, I wiped every single Zelda video, I wiped every single Pokemon video from both channels. It sucks. That's over 500 videos lost. That's literally multiple live streams worth, highlights, everything fucking lost. It's gone.
Azurite Reaction, for example, nearly got terminated because Nintendo Japan double-tapped him with takedowns, netting him 2 copyright strikes for 6 months.
Both of these strikes will last for a full year.
And if you don't know already, these strikes quite literally cripple your channel, removing valuable features such as streaming, and suspending access to the account for up to 2 weeks, really. Leaving you vulnerable for a technical knockout from, let's be real, most likely Nintendo. And get this, Azurite Reaction has a Nazi level of care in avoiding copyright using only music and content that he has full permission for, or has had made for him. And of course, he contacted Nintendo, who sent him an automated response apologizing for his save state issues. Yeah. And once he finally got in contact with them months after the fact, they came back in broken English pointing out to the fine print of their Creators Program, which bars playing modified Nintendo games, and by extension, cartridge tilting, falls under this, despite being something you can do with any Nintendo 64 game.
Here's a TV that looks like an apple.
Because you're not playing the game as intended. I'm sure I don't have to explain to you guys how this doesn't infringe copyright. If anything, it infringes it less. It makes the material more transformative. In fact, that's an objectively factual statement. You may have noticed I don't really play official Nintendo games for any of these aforementioned reasons unless they have been ported to Xbox already. And that's because I don't want to be playing copyright Russian roulette with a fully loaded Nintendo Light Revolver. I wouldn't even be surprised if Nintendo tries to take me down for playing that Bowser porn game, because it infringes on their intellectual properties. This is fresh in our minds, but the fact of the matter is that the Wii U died quicker than a puppy in Chinatown. So, this should cast a shadow on anyone about the lifespan of any Nintendo products from now on, now that they've introduced their Nintendo bait and switch. Oh! That's pretty dumb. Why did I do that? Why did I write that? And this goes for the Virtual Console as well, which had an embarrassingly stingy selection of games, which you will now purchase at ridiculously high prices a second time for your new Nintendo system, or maybe even a third time if you've gotten the same games with your NES Classic, and oh, we'll get to that shortly. And I'm sure you'd rather opt for, say, emulation, which is technically illegal, but is quicker and easier than trying to purchase said games that you've already purchased again and again. Keyword being again. You're trying to tell me it's more immoral to emulate a game than it is to demand even more money for a game that's been purchased by the consumer multiple times already.
The Nintendo Switch is a scam.
Sure, this thing seems pretty good in all the advertisements, and it sounds like a novel idea. An actual all-in-one console combining portable with non-portable? Take that, Microsoft. Until you delve a bit deeper and find Nintendo managed to Nintendo it up again. Once again, I'll refer you to a wonderful Jim Sterling video, seeing as he's so good at pointing out everything shitty about evil game corporations, but I'll give you the skinny on it. And that's not meant to be a fat joke. Okay, maybe it is. The Switch has a paid online service, of which they offer you one NES or SNES game a month for that month, while PlayStation and Xbox offer free premium games monthly for their service. And yes, gems like Ice Climbers or Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is good enough for you, and good enough for the money that they've done nothing to show confidence in their own online service in their entire history as a company. And for me, that just doesn't fly. Trust is something that must be earned, and after a failure that was the Wii U, I have zero confidence in anything this company puts out. Oh, and this system seems to have more issues than the embarrassing Xbox 360 launch, with many people claiming their Switch was bricked right out of the box, and others citing many irritating game-breaking glitches.
That is fucking loud.
What is that over there? What is that? I don't feel well.
The dock is literally the screen has not touched any other surface.
The dock is terrible. It's really low quality. I was really surprised by how just cheap and flimsy the dock is. It's essentially just a little plastic box, and the Switch just kind of awkwardly crunches in down on it. It's hard plastic even on the inside. There's been reports already that people are scratching their screen.
I've gotten like a weird smudge already, smudge mark from sliding in and out of the dock. I think I've taken it in and out of the dock only about maybe 8 times.
Press again. What's gonna happen? software was closed because an error occurred.
Nintendo practices innovating new scummy marketing practices.
You remember the NES Classic? That overpriced, overrated piece of shit Nintendo pushed out for a quick buck. It sold out within minutes. Well, that's a lot less impressive of a feat when you purposely understock your new products. When you sell 2 products within minutes, sure, it makes a good headline when it reads, but anyone who looks into it will be pissed off. It should be a lose-lose situation. The company is failing to sell you a product that has a large demand. But that's Nintendo for you, looking so hard for a new scam that they miss the obvious, simple, and uninsulting way to do it. This happens frequently, practically all the time. With their Amiibas and their DSs, this is incredibly arrogant. It's almost like Nintendo is trying to tell you that you are a pleb and they're the kings, and you'd be privileged to even have the right to purchase any of their godly products. Fuck that. I realize I'm not the only one on the side of this argument, far from it really, but there are a lot of heavy hitters out there who I feel are, and though I'm free to criticize, I'd rather not be accused of slander and libel and say that some hypothetical person, Blake Blatte, friend of the Blangry Blidio Blame Blurred, have hypothetically been downplaying all these points I've made, feigning ignorance to Nintendo's marketing scams, inciting hope that Nintendo was stocked well this time around. I mean, it would only be fair to give them a second chance, this poor massive corporation who has enough money left in their vault to buy out any YouTuber ever. Not saying they did, I'm just using that as an example. Now, I know for a fact that Nintendo will claim this video, so we're going to play 15 seconds of Placebo's 20 years completely uninterrupted. You can thank Jim Sterling for this amazing technique, by the way. Thank you for watching this ad-free video, courtesy of Placebo and Nintendo. Thanks, Placebo. And oh, go ahead and buy a Nintendo Switch if you want to. You know, that's great. Just don't get bamboozled. And, as always, stay salty, kiddos.